Hey there. Wanted to talk to you tonight just for a few minutes, and this is also for President Trump and Secretary Hegseth. If you happen to be out on social media tonight, I hope you can catch this too. I want to talk just a little bit of a history lesson and also how we might be able to save a lot of money in our war and fighting against these drones. Now, a little backdrop. Back in World War II, an Army private or corporal, we don't know exactly what their name was or rank, but they were in an Army unit. They were stationed in Alaska, summer of 1942, got attacked by the Japanese. Japanese Zero was shot down by somebody with a 50 cal. There were 50 cal and smaller ammunition was used to take down this aircraft. Now I have here some 50 cal ammunition I want to show you. This is what a normal 50 cal looks like. And then you have what's called armor piercing 50 cal. Sometimes it'll have a black tip, but you can't always just go from the paint on there because there's a lot of fakes out there. But this has got a magnet on it. That's steel core. That ammunition is steel. That'll hardened steel surrounded by a copper jacket. That'll go through engine blocks. It'll go through a lot of stuff. So what were they armed with? Likely just a regular 50 cal. Possibly, maybe they had some armor piercing. But that's not that complicated. Also, we've got, here's a 30 caliber round that's also armor piercing that they may have had. Here's a 308 round that's armor piercing, just a regular, but it's steel core ammunition. Now, here's a 30 caliber hunting round. It's nothing. There's nothing magnetic on it. It's lead and copper. It won't stick. Here's a pistol round, a common pistol round. It's not sticking. So here's out of the brass. Here's a armor piercing 50 cal ammo and an armor piercing 30 caliber. Now I'll hold this closer so you can see the difference in size. But both of these were found. That what happened is they shot down a Jap Zero, and that's what contributed greatly to the U.S. winning the air war, because they were able to salvage that Japanese Zero. It landed in a mud bog in Alaska, and they were able to recover that plane, send it to the lab down in San Diego, and that's what they used to design the American fighters from that point forward. They flew that Zero, they experimented with it, they took it apart, put it back together, learned everything there was to know. And the Navy said, wow, if a soldier shot that down with a 50 cal, maybe we should put some 50 cals in our planes. In fact, if one 50 cal was good enough, 6 would be even better. So they put 6 50 cal in the wings of the aircraft in the Pacific. And the Army Air Corps said, wow, if 150 cal is good and 6 is better, 8 would be marvelous. So in the P-47 over in Europe, they put 8 50 caliber machine guns in the wings. And the Germans kind of mocked those planes because they felt like theirs were far more advanced until they started getting hit with 50 cal. And they started going down, and then they went from feeling arrogant to getting hopeless. Now, the reason I bring that up is sometimes we spend way too much money to reinvent the wheel on things, and I partially understand why, because there's a lot of people that make a lot of money from war. But since we're talking about making the force more lethal, let's not only do that by, getting rid of woke, quote, woke policies, but let's go back to simple military strategies and equipment that works. And instead of spending gobs of money, most of which goes into somebody's pockets there in the suburbs of Washington or north of Richmond, as they say, let's get some stuff that works and get that into the hands of our war fighters. And one of the issues we're having, okay, these shells were good enough to take down Japanese Zeros and Focke-Wulf 190s, Me-109s all across Europe. These Shahed drones are a lot simpler aircraft than either of those models. A lot slower, a lot less armor. So if these 50 cals work, just plain old 50 cals, like a regular 50 cal you can buy for $4 a piece. Instead, we're firing these very expensive and high-tech 20 millimeter shells that are very light, and they explode, and it's just a lot of extra stuff that maybe is not completely necessary, and they're very expensive. $125 a round. 20,000 rounds could be fired off in 5 minutes, and you're looking at $2.5 million. Whereas you could get 20,000 of these for $80,000 versus $2.5 million. If you wanted to splurge and get the armor piercing for about $10 a piece, get 20,000 of those for $200,000 instead of $2.5 million. Here's what's going on. We asked for an extra $15 billion because of this war in Iran. That's because a lot of that equipment we're trying to replace has been destroyed by military devices that are less than 1/100th of the cost. So they've gone low, we should go lower. We could take them out with a lot less expense by looking at just some simple ammunition here. Now keep in mind, shot down Japanese Zeros and German aircraft with a plain old simple 50 cal ammunition. So we could buy a lot of that for what we're spending on this high-tech stuff that keeps getting destroyed. And they're not spending a lot of money. Now here's what's going on. I'm going to give you some history. I'll look over here at this map I'll put up. The propellant for these drones, the reason we're having trouble, the propellant is being provided by China. They're bringing in this material. They're floating it from on the eastern side of China and coming down through the Indian Ocean and all the way over to coming into Iran there, and then it's being dispersed. It's not big factories they're making these drones in anymore. It's small operations. It's all decentralized now. So we can spend 15 billion extra dollars, and they're going to spend less than $100 million and potentially wipe that stuff out. Or we can spend a lot less than them and take out their 100 million worth of drones by just the trusty old 50 cal. Now we got to get a bunch of those in the hands of people that can use them, get them around facilities, hook some radar to them, just like the Navy had some effective radar machine guns out on their ships. They took our 50 cal and put it in their aircraft, take their radar and put it on some ground-based 50 cals. For a lot less money, we could be cutting up a lot of these drones. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Save a lot of money, defeat some low-lying aircraft. I mean, you could there's another version I'm not going to show you that has they're what they call incendiary, and those will not only pierce armor, they'll also set whatever it hits on fire, especially anything with a motor on it or anything that's got any kind of petroleum products or oils or anything like that. Big trucks, armored vehicles, you can set them on fire with incendiary ammunition, armor piercing. Just like this size. This is like almost a ½ inch coming at you, coming at your aircraft. It's going to tear up Jack, and we can get them on the cheap. Thanks a lot. God bless.